Hey, my name is Kevin, and I live in an off-grid house in the Swedish woods, and I make video games. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we generate energy from the solar panels and how that works a little bit around the house. And then PaperKlay, my game that in 3.5 weeks I made a demo. It went from this to this, and I'm amazed. So I'm going to go into some decisions that I made in order to make it possible. And after that, I'm going to go through some questions that was asked in the previous video. So let's go.
To any new viewers, this is PaperKlay, a 3D platformer collectathon set in a world made out of paper and cardboard and any other handcrafted materials. I do have a Steam page for PaperKlay, so please wishlist if you think it looks interesting. Let's get on with the devlog. Hold on tight because this is filled with new stuff. 4 weeks ago, the game looked like this. I told the composer Nate that I wanted a demo done by the end of August because it doesn't hurt to have one ready if some opportunity comes up. And it couldn't have been more than a week later. I came across an event, so I told Nate we might scale down the first level that we planned and finish that earlier. The deadline was in 3.5 weeks. We looked at what we had and we got to work. My producer brain was running faster than ever before, what had to be cut out of the original design and what level of quality had to be reached. If I couldn't even make 30 seconds look good, then we wouldn't even have to try to finish a demo in this short deadline. So that's where I started. First level was the intro that led to an open area. Then from there, the player could explore until they found one of the 4 linear paths. These paths are more focused on 1 to 2 mechanics that gradually increase in complexity and challenge as you get further along the path. For example, in this forest path, you'll find a knob that you can hit. There's no other way you can go but up on that platform. So, you'll have to hit the knob and be introduced to the mechanic in a safe space. I'm going to use the term challenge loosely. As you can see, the challenge is increased when there are now 2 extendable platforms and they're vertical instead. So when you get further, there's a bigger risk you can fall down. Then along this path, you'll find a final challenge which will test the player's skills. Then in the end, you'll find the egg and you can go back to the open area again. So the idea was to have 4 paths per level in a structure like this. Sure, some variation in order to make it more fun, but you get the base idea. However, when looking at the deadline and the amount of work that had to be done, I decided that I'd just cut 2 areas and this rotation thing from the demo. I'd rather have a short and solid demo than some areas not being decorated and just bringing down the demo overall.
Hey, let's take a small break from video games for a minute. Let me just show you the house before it starts to rain. Usually the sun shines a lot, but right now it's cloudy. Then it shines all down to the solar panels. They soak up the energy and transfer it into the banks, as you can see here. And from a user point of view, it's not that complicated from this point. You just plug in your cable into the wall like you normally would in your house. The difference is though that I can go and watch exactly how much energy is being generated from the sun at any given moment and how much the house is actually spending, which is both scary and interesting. So for the water situation, when it rains, and I think it will in a few minutes, it will land on the roof and then slide down along that path into big tanks that are buried underground. Let me see. I'm not going to fall down. And they're down there. Before we use the water and inside, it will get filtered and everything, like before we use it in the sink or in the shower. And that's how it goes. It's pretty simple. So now I'm standing in the greenhouse that's in front of the, or attached to the front of the house, so to say. It gets warm thanks to the sun, and then in the summer, thanks to how the walls with everything, with sand-filled car tires and the rest of the isolation is built up with the dirt and everything. It helps to cool off in the summer, and in the winter, it helps to, we have a dog, in the winter it helps to keep the house warm thanks to the heated greenhouse. I'm no expert with the details how everything works, but it's been working for several years now. We can also grow whatever we want in here throughout the entire year, which is pretty cool.
I forgot to mention here that every time we use the sink or the shower, that water will flow and water every plant in the house. So we don't have to do anything manually. The house is called an earthship and it's a style of architecture invented by Michael Reynolds. You can look into that if you're interested. I usually describe it like it's built from sand-filled car tires and packed dirt. Then at the front there's a greenhouse that gets warm thanks to the sun during the day. Anyway, this is the house and we live right next to the woods, so that's pretty cool. The dog loves it. As I mentioned before, I decided to cut 2 areas from the demo, and the plan was to have new and unique assets for each path, but I knew pretty fast that this wasn't realistic for me. Something that I have to think about is that I'm a solo developer, and while my confidence in making art has increased tenfold in the last month, I still feel new to it. I had to come up with a solution, so I decided to make the paths variants of the main decoration of the level, if that makes sense. The amount of variation in the paths isn't set in stone yet. I'll play around with it and see what my imagination comes up with. But for the city path, I made houses, and for the forest, I tried to have a lot of leaves and tree branches as well, with some sharp vines. The big open area, I tried to imagine a backyard in order to get going because I was stuck for a while and what to do here. And I think it turned out pretty good. Is the demo everything I hoped and dreamed for? Not yet. I still want to do some work in the open area. I want to encourage exploration and playfulness when you're here. Find the secrets, grab all the red orbs in time, play some minigames perhaps, or help some characters. The linear paths are good, but they can get more interesting with some rotation puzzles and more time in order to make some visual fun ideas, since things are made out of paper and other handcrafted materials. But let's not forget how much everything improved during these 3.5 weeks. Not only the visuals, but the player controller feels better, less buggy, small stuff that you want to get fixed before external playtesters get their hands on the game. Which reminds me, I'm thinking of doing something small playtest-ish. Let me know if you're interested, if you think that would be fun, in the comments down below. If you want to support me and the game, then go and wishlist PaperKlay on Steam and send it to a friend that you think would like it as well.
PaperKlay was mentioned in a Kotaku article a few weeks back, which made me very happy. It also gave me a bump in the wishlist graph, which was cool. So if you like what you see, go wishlist the game. The link is down below. Send it to a friend, because word by mouth is the best way to spread PaperKlay, you know? Comment down below if you have any questions about this all new thing. And if you like it, if you like me to keep taking you on walks in the woods, I think that's nice. Either way, until next time, take care. Subscribe here on YouTube to be notified. The bell. Either way, take care. Have a great day. Bye.